96. All right, let's take a look at that. So this is going to be second lap, and honestly, not too complicated in theory. I'm going to be full throttle this entire lap, and we're just going to run the high line. Coming to the out lap here, you just want to make it through this corner without sliding your rear tires and keeping full throttle. The hard thing to do here is going to be to enter the corner at the right place. So you don't want to enter too high because the car will want to slide up just a little bit on entry. You don't want to enter too low because you'll have to turn the steering wheel too much to get the rotation, which will cause you to slide your rears. So you want to enter pretty much in the middle of this top groove and then kind of point the car towards the seam. So it'll start sliding up a little bit, but at a certain point you want to start driving down the hill. You want to start driving down the hill so that you're coming from top to bottom on exit, just very slightly, and then you'll slide up and just barely miss the wall. And then we're going to, of course, cut the apron here. It's worth quite a bit of time. And I want to apex at the start-finish line. You don't want to apex your apron early, or else it's just not going to be any speed. So you apex right at the start-finish line, and then you keep it down here for quite a long time. But you need to come back onto the surface as the track straightens out, or else you're not going to set up for your corner in time. All right, so I come back up the track. I want to be right by the wall on entry, and right as I get to the wall, I want to turn in. This black thing, the black logo right there, I want to turn down the hill right as I reach that. And I want to have my lefts essentially almost at the white dash line. Sometimes I want to be a little lower than that. It all depends. Basically, you can be anywhere from a little bit below the white line up to like half a groove up. But the shallower you enter, the tighter you're going to be. So the more wheel you'll have to turn to get the car to rotate in the middle of the corner. And what we don't want is the car's right rear to kick out. So let's watch this full speed once. So you'll notice that I'm really trying to keep the car straight. You hear no right rear tire there. So there was no right rear tire sliding there. So I could have right here turned the wheel more and not let the car slide up to the wall. But turning the car more there has a higher likelihood of getting my right rear kicked out slightly and losing me some momentum. And that's worth about half a tenth, if not more, if you slide your right rear enough. So no matter where you enter, you gotta make sure you're not going beyond a certain steering threshold that will kick your right rear out. And then you just keep turning with what allows you to do that, and then you start driving down the hill and straightening out your exit because we want to get the wheel straight as soon as possible. And that's how you carry the speed that you want off this corner. Same idea with 3 and 4. I'm going to do that full speed here. So enter at the middle of the track. We don't want to turn more than a certain amount. Don't slide the right rear, but we still want to drive down the hill as we exit the corner and straighten out the wheel as early as we can. I make it look really easy. It's not a flex, but it just looks easier than it is. What's really happening here is that I'm aiming specifically for this part. I say, okay, I'm where I want to be. I'll let the car slide up a little bit. Oh, sorry, I'm in Discord deafened. I'll let the car slide up a little bit. Okay, no right rear sliding. Now I'm going to point the car back down the hill, and I'm going to straighten out my wheel as early as I can while still not hitting the outside wall. Because the earlier I can straighten out the wheel, the faster, the more momentum I'm going to carry off the corner. And then, of course, we're going to come down and really as early as possible because you don't have to worry about that late apex here because we're going for time, not for speed at the line. And so I got down there pretty early. 30.96. I think there's another few hundredths in it, but it's not much more than that. All right, now let's look at long run. All right, let's talk about long run. So I'm like 5 laps into this run so far, and I've only been running the bottom. And you can run consistent lap times down here. It's just a little bit slower than running the top, but the top is going to burn a lot more tire. But still, you will see people try to run the top for the full race. It depends on the race that you're in. If you feel like you're going to lose a ton of track position by running the bottom at the beginning, then you might just want to defend top the whole race. But you will save a lot of tire running this bottom in the way that I show you here, and then we will move up to the top around like lap 12, lap 15, something like that, maybe lap 20 even. So I do an early entry and get off the gas. I just wait at the white line, let the car start sliding up, and then as the car starts sliding up, I get back into the throttle and drive straight up the track. We just simplify the corner, minimize steering inputs, get to the bottom early, basically takes care of that right front tire. You don't really want to worry about getting the car on the right rear under throttle because it's not really going to happen it's going to get on the right rear eventually on exit, but if you try to get on it too early, you might just end up forcing like more steering input to try to get it. So I just kind of ride it and then let the car get loose on exit. And again, this might not be as fast as the top is at this point of the run, so it all depends on how much of a gap you got behind you, who you're racing and stuff like that. But the best type of corners are going to be the ones where you can really get right by the white line and kind of stay in the pocket, the groove down there. Let's see, I turn in early, let off, let the car settle on the white, and then I'll just get on the throttle and just let the car slide up. Pretty simple. And now next lap, we are going to start trying the outside. You can see now that I got in the pocket, I'm still letting it slide up. I'm not keeping it pinned down because that just takes more steering input, and you don't need that. So now I'm going to run the high side. How you run the high side, you start high, you let off your gas a little early, and then you get back. You don't really need to let off much at Kansas at all. It's not quite as much as Chicago, but you'll see that I can gain like even a tenth here. So it's going to be really tempting to get to the top early in these races, but let me tell you, the earlier you get up here, the harder you're going to have at the end. So it depends on if you want to be attacking or defending at the end of the race. So you see, I only gained a tenth this lap, which seems like a lot, but what I like doing is kind of running the bottom until I have somebody behind me that forces me to run a lap up top. And again, same thing with wall ripping. Keep your eyes on the seam. Don't look at the wall. If you're going to let off the gas before you start turning, oh, I broke my own rule. That's kind of funny. But you want to let off the gas before you start turning so that you make sure that the car isn't sliding up to the wall on entry. And of course, mistakes are going to be really easy to make, so it just takes a lot of practice. 95, 96, so see, it's going to be a right front burner, and the more you run that high side, the more you're going to burn that right front in these cars. It's not the same for every car, but in these ARCA cars, the top burns right front. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. I hope to see you all on the track.